What's up, y'all? Oof, I'm still getting used to talking to my phone again. So, I had originally planned to do a video about tech, talking about how problematic it is that so many of us are trying to do community building work using digital and virtual tools that are controlled and monitored by people who, to put it nicely, don't want to see us win. And I'm probably still going to make that video at some point. I've got a whole essay about that subject up on my Substack right now. Everybody should go read it. That was going to be like one of the big points of the tech video. But I think it might be better for me right now to talk about some of the things that are going on in my home community, because it's a lot. And I've been thinking about it a lot, and I've been learning a lot. And hopefully by my sharing, you can learn something too. Basically, within the course of the past month, two of my community's elders, two of the founders of our organization, two of the people who really helped raise me in a really big way, have been hospitalized for major health episodes. Now, not at the same time, thankfully, and they're both in different stages of recovery, which I'm also thankful for. But it's been a really significant challenge that my community has had to step up and adapt to. This is following a long stretch of time when another one of the core members of our team was in and out of the day-to-day operations of the work for weeks, months at a time, bouncing back and forth between here and her hometown, helping her family deal with two separate health crises that happened to two different members of her immediate family back to back from one another. And if I'm remembering correctly, and I may not be, it's been a long year, that overlapped with another situation that happened last year where a different member of our core team had to have a pretty significant emergency surgery, which they're still in recovery from 6, 7, 8 months later. And that's just the big shit. Like, half of our team got shut down for a week in February because of a norovirus outbreak. I had to get a procedure on my left eye for keratoconus. Like, we've been taking some hits health-wise over here. Like, it's a lot. And I've been thinking about it a lot, so here are some of my thoughts. The first thought is one that I've seen a lot of other creators talk about before, especially creators whose work mainly has to do with disability justice. But it's about just the importance of community care networks, not just for sustaining the people who do your work, but also sustaining the relationships and the other people that sustain the people who do your work. Everybody gets sick, and being sick is disabling, and sometimes you stay that way. It takes people a long time to recover, if they recover at all, and if you're not prepared to be there for people through that process of recovery, whatever it looks like in that situation, not only are you throwing that person away, as well as whatever contribution that they could make to the community that y'all are supposedly building and living in together, but you're also throwing away all the people that do care enough about that person and their well-being enough to stick by their side. And in a world that seems to be working double time to make us unwell, that's just not a sustainable way to run an organization or a community or a movement. For many of us, maybe even most of us, there are no safety nets aside from community. So if we aren't there to catch the people next to us when they fall, then eventually there will be nobody left to catch you when it's your turn to fall. You got to be careful kicking people to the curb, because when you get in trouble, you might get kicked to the curb as well. But at the same time, it's just hard. Taking care of people, showing up for people can just be really hard. Like, there's really no way to get around it, no other way to put it. It's just really fucking hard. It's hard to worry about people. It's hard to get other parts of the work done while you're worried about people. It's hard to step away from your work or reprioritize your work when it's clear that, being there for your people, for your community has to rise to the top of the list. And it's hard to figure out, how to be there for others and how to support others, while you still trying to figure out how to do the stuff that you got to do to support you and keep you going, but you just got to do it. Or you at least got to try. I don't think that we always do it right. Like I certainly don't think that I do. And, I'm trying to be more right more often. And I'll admit, this part of it is relatively new to me, maintaining a 24-hour awareness of, a person's condition so that you can know if they've gotten worse or gotten better, scheduling shifts for people to watch over them in case they have another emergency or in case they need anything. It's a lot to learn, but it's been really incredible seeing my community mobilize so quickly, so on so many occasions in a really short period of time, I think. And I'm really grateful to be a part of a community that, prioritizes this sort of thing, because we do a lot, but this is one of the things that we do. And I think it's definitely had me thinking a lot about, the things that I need to do to take better care of myself and like my own health to make sure that I can, show up better for people in the ways that I feel like I want to. Also makes me think about that concept of radical self-care. Once again, other disabled creators have talked about this in a lot more depth. Imani Barbarin is a great example. But, just the idea that the question of self-care shouldn't end at just what do I need to be okay. It should be what do I need to be okay enough to be there for the people in my community and to get this work done. And I think it's also just had me thinking about the importance of spiritual fortitude. In Parable of the Sower, Octavia Butler includes a verse that's like, there is no end to what a living world will demand of you. So accepting that, I think it definitely helps to have a connection to something outside of yourself that's strong enough to convince you to push aside feelings of discomfort or anxiety or just, I don't want to be fucking doing this. I think when you understand that, it also starts to make sense why so many communities have been built around institutions like churches, like specifically like religious and spiritual institutions, because that endurance and that practice of like spiritual discipline and perseverance is like already baked into a lot of the community's identity and practice. I have another essay about this topic on my Substack as well. You should go read it. But I also think about figures like High John the Conqueror, Brer Rabbit, even the stories of historical figures like Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman. Like, these aren't stories that people just tell for fun, these are cultural tools, spiritual tools to remind us that we can endure hard times, we can do difficult things, that trouble don't last always, it's just sometimes you gotta grit your teeth and bear it through a very bad and difficult situation. And Lord knows it's a lot of bad and difficult situations coming up down the line, man. I'll tell you what. So yeah, this video's pretty long and a little rambly. I guess that's just my style now, but I'll try to sum it up in a few key points. First key point, and you should already know this, if not, either welcome or what are you doing here, but we got to take care of our people. As I see it, that's what this work is all about. It's about taking care of our friends, our family, our neighbors, and empowering other people to do the same for their people. Because if you don't, it just all starts to fall apart. And it's not always easy to do that. It can be very demanding and very uncomfortable, but you got to do it, or you got to try to figure out a way to do it. Or if you can't do it, you at least got to be there to support the people who can do it, who can be on the front lines providing that direct care that you're either, not equipped or unwilling to provide in that moment. And that takes grit. It takes discipline. It takes belief. It takes spiritual fortitude, but you can do it. And if you can't do it, you can learn how to do it, but somebody's got to do it. But if you're in it, man, you got to be in it. There are no shortcuts. There are no easy ways out. This is the work. And I'm definitely talking to myself here as well, because you just got to do it, even if it's hard, even if it's the hardest thing you ever have to do. So yeah, hug somebody you love and really be there for them when they need you. Read my High John the Conqueror essay on Substack if you need some spiritual fortitude. I'll put the link in my bio. And maybe if we all do that, we can make it through whatever this is. ATP to ATP. Peace.